you had a lot of stuff that you wanted to do as well. So it wasn't just like the emotional and, you know, getting through a lot of your mental strongholds. Like you wanted to write your book and you wanted to have like your homeless shelter. And I mean, it was just a whole lot of things. And I know you're probably like, when I was telling you, look, you got to slow down. I need us to do like maybe one or two things at a time while we're working on, you know, the internal. So, you know, like kind of like looking back, how was it for you to actually like slow down and really like process things so that you could actually get to those things later on?
I don't I don't think that what I started to do when you were advising me of these things, I started to take out the time to try to focus on one project at a time, which God was leading me to do that anyway, even though
Mm-hmm.
um I had already like gotten the businesses started. I had gotten them registered and everything. But I still was being led to work on one project at a time. And
Right.
so I didn't want to overwhelm myself with these things. And
Mm-hmm.
even now, you know, there are certain instructions that God has given me that I still have not completely done everything he asked me to do. Like this going live thing. I don't like going live. I don't like going live. So it's an issue for me as well. And even with my book, I struggle with my book sometimes. Like, God, why do I got to say all this? Why do I got to say all this? But I have to get out of my way because everything that happened to me for a reason, and God wants to use it to help someone else. And
Mm-hmm.
so I have to allow those things to flow.
Yeah.
It's a process. So I
Yeah.
have to, you know, I had to learn how to give myself grace and mercy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because when you first started, you were really hard on yourself, like very hard on yourself. Like you didn't give yourself a pass in any way. And so tell me about like that process because you know you started to realize it and we had to kind of like peel back the layers. Like you are not your decisions because you kept thinking, well, I am my decisions. Like I am my past, and I'm like, no, you're not. And so how was processing that and realizing I am not what I used to be, and I can actually move forward.
Um, I had to, there was a certain point in this process that stands out to me uh so strongly. You pointed out to me that I had become someone that I was with, and
Mm,
that it shaped who I became from then on. You know, as an adult, like my adulthood, he shaped me and who I became, and I had never heard that before, and
mm,
that right there kind of like blew my mind. Um, but when you pointed it out, I could receive it though, because I typically would have argued that down that I had not become him, but it resonated, and I thank God that it did because it that was a turning point for me. That was a turning point for me to give myself a little leeway because I actually did get a chance to become who I really am or what I should have been because I was influenced by someone that was a protector over me. He was somebody that I loved, so it just shaped me in a way, and it all wasn't good either. It wasn't good. It turned me into a savage. Honestly,
mm.
it turned me into a savage. It turned me into, you know, I'm not from the hood. I'm not from the hood. I didn't grow up in the ghetto, but I had become ghetto. I had become ratchet, um, and I owned and lived that. I was a troublemaker. Yeah, that's who I had become. And so when you started showing me those things, I had to like digest all that, and we started to deal with different things. The program is actually phenomenal because it gets to things that we in our own minds that we don't realize. I never thought that this paperwork would really express who I really am. Like
Mm.
when you would be telling me stuff, I would record it and be like blown away, like, wow, like this paperwork really gave her all this insight on me, on
Mm.
what's going on inside of me, what's going on in my mental, where I'm at emotionally. And so, yes, it was needed. All of this was needed. It was needed.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that was your turning point too, because I think it was probably like maybe like 4 or 5 weeks prior, like his life, it was like you kept reliving. It was almost as if, because he had passed away, but it was almost as if he was still a living, breathing person. But after we had that conversation, it was like little by little, I didn't hear about him anymore. And I was like, and I didn't even bring him up. I did that intentionally because I'm like, she's not bringing any of that up. I'm not bringing any of that up. Like, and I can see like your thought process about yourself was starting to change, and it was starting to shift, and you were starting to become you again. Because you said as a child I was a sweet child, like I wasn't any of what I just turned into, and now you could actually embody Ronnie, not
Yes.
someone else. And that was a big point for you, that it wasn't easy to think about, but it was like the thing that you needed to like just start releasing your past.
Mm-hmm. It was a shocker for me. I mean, because I would not have never agreed with that. I would have never been like, I would have argued you down. Like, I'm not like him. But honestly, I have became a female version of him. And actually, he used to say all the time, I don't worry about you. It keeps me from worrying about you because I know you can take care of yourself. And so, yes, I have become crazy. Crazy. I have become crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was a lot of layers to kind of peel back. And there
Yes.
were quite a few times where you were like, look, I want to quit. This is too much.
Yes. I mean,
So,
because you was getting underneath there. And that's where you needed to get. I needed somebody to go beyond the surface and start digging up some things. And you started digging up things I had to face. I had to face these things. I had to go ahead and address them and acknowledge the role that even he played in my life, and
mm-hmm.
and the characteristics that I had picked up for myself. Like, I took these on as my own. It
Yeah.
was really like a defense mechanism, honestly. It was my protection. It protected me in the city life. Um, Honestly, I'm a different person here in my hometown than I was in the city. It's people that have been around me throughout the years. I spent 15 years in Indianapolis. So there are people who know me there that will be shocked of my lifestyle here. I'm actually more calmer. I'm more reserved. I try to stay to myself. Uh, I'm not like I used to be. Not at all.